As the saying goes, it's not over until it's over. And last night, the Detroit Lions absolutely proved that they are a team that absolutely has to be reckoned with and is built differently. We're going to talk about it, so stay tuned.
What are we? What makes us what we are and what we're going to be? It's grit. It's what we started with last year, guys. It doesn't matter if you have one ass cheek and three toes. I will beat your ass.
Can definitely compete with the big dogs.
10-5, end zone, touchdown, Detroit Lions.
You guys are unbelievable, man. I'm telling you.
We are driven by Detroit.
Hello, Detroit Lions friends and family members. Welcome on back to yet another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. I'm your host, David T. Pike. And as always, we're diving on in. Again, my friends, I just want to apologize that, I was not able to finish the stream last night. I know some people probably thought that the reason I didn't want to continue doing the stream is because of the fact that, I was upset with the game and I was just calling it quits because I was, rage quitting. That was not it. I've sat through games where the Lions were absolutely getting their asses handed to them. If you guys remember 2 years ago, I sat through the absolute ass beating we got against the Eagles, 44-6. Sat through the entire thing. It was miserable. I didn't like it. This was not anywhere close to that, but it was still bad. Again, as I put in my community post, the reason I couldn't keep doing the stream is because my hips and knees were just getting to a point where I was in absolute agony. And I was just like, listen, I can't keep doing the stream where I'm constantly having to get up and down every freaking 5 minutes. So it was just like, I'm gonna cut the stream. I'm gonna have to figure something out in the future to where I can actually continue to do the streams without it constantly being a problem. So I'm already thinking about different ways to try and do that. But again, I just wanted to apologize because I know that probably gave off a wrong impression. But anyway, let's talk about the game last night. I'm going to tell you this right now. If ever there was a game where you could probably reference a team's validation to be a Super Bowl not only contender, but a Super Bowl caliber championship team, that game that we saw last night would definitely be it. And I know for most people at face value, they wouldn't think that. Because they'd be like, dude, how can you say that? The freaking team last night had 5 turnovers. Jared Goff looked absolutely horrible. They're going to say all this stuff about what they saw at face value, and it's like, okay here, folks. For those that watched the game last night and are saying that, they're just taking a look at what is at the surface. They're not actually looking at the true message. They're not taking a look at actually what went on during that game. Because let's actually address what went on in that game. First and foremost, I know everybody's going to want to go after Jared Goff, and they're definitely going to want to have fun with me and try and rile me up about it because, yes, I am a Goff fan. But if you go back and you watch every single interception that Goff threw, at the very least, 3 of those interceptions should not be counted. Because, let's think about it. 2 of those interceptions were on Penei Sewell not doing his job as a blocker, because the first time that interception happened, Sewell didn't engage the guy that was in front of him who allowed the ball to be tipped up and then be intercepted. The second interception, Sewell pretty much got absolutely destroyed, got freaking beat off the edge, and Goff got hit from behind. Which then, again, ball got tipped up, another interception. And then the last interception, it's a Hail Mary. It's a 50-50 ball. You already know there's a good chance it's going to get intercepted. So it's like you already take that into the assumption of risk. Now, the one interception that I would say was definitely on Goff was that deep one to freaking Jamison Williams because there was absolutely no chance Jameis was going to get that ball. The ball was underthrown. It was not anywhere close to him. The one that's kind of a little bit iffy was probably the one to Sam Laporta going into the end zone. Laporta could have definitely gotten that. I don't know why he didn't at least try. I've seen freaking Amon-Ra St. Brown try, and if it looks like, hey, he can't get it, he'll at least try and swat it down. But Laporta didn't even look like he made an effort, so I don't know. That one's kind of an iffy for me. But this episode is not about trying to defend Goff. Rather, what I'm trying to get at here is that you take a look at those interceptions, you take a look at those turnovers for what they truly are. They said it last night during the damn broadcast. No team has been able to come back from, what was it? I think a 16-plus point deficit at halftime with 5 interceptions and be able to win the game. It hasn't happened since the 1970s when the Colts did it to the Bears. Again, you're talking about something that has not been done in damn near 55 years. That's crazy. And yet, our Lions found a way to do it. And the reason why I'm talking about it this way, the reason why I have my thumbnail image about pure resiliency, the reason I'm wearing the grit hat is because every other team in the NFL, for the most part, they would have looked at that game and they would have just packed their bags up and said, that's it, we're done. We're down 23-7. We can't get anything going. We're kind of screwed. This is just not our night. But if you take a look at what the Lions did in the first half versus the second half, completely different spectrum, completely different ball club. Because what you saw in the first half was a defense that was doing everything it could to keep the offense in the game, and the offense was just kind of stringing itself along. But then in the second half, completely different story. I mean, quite literally, the very first play of the second half, Carlton Davis makes an absolutely beautiful freaking interception that changes the tide of the game. Like, as soon as that interception happened, all the momentum literally swung right back to the freaking Detroit Lions. It was literally a massive pendulum swing. Because now it's like, okay, here. You guys smacked us around. You came out. You punched us in the mouth in the first half. Okay, fine. We got the message. Now we're going to come out second half and we're going to sock you in the mouth. And that's exactly what that Carlton Davis interception did. Because it was like, I mean, you take a look at both interceptions Carlton Davis had. That one I'm talking about right here at the beginning of the first half, and you know that one that was the shot into the end zone, Carlton Davis just appeared out of nowhere. Freaking Carlton Davis was nowhere even in the picture when freaking, Stroud was throwing the ball, but both times he just freaking came out of nowhere and made beautiful freaking interceptions. Absolutely just killed momentum for the Texans right then and there. So, the defense, I got to give the defense full credit, full kudos. They played their damn asses off. They absolutely deserve all the freaking credit from this game. Aaron Glenn had a massive, awesome, great game plan because every single thing that he did virtually was perfect. You got to think about it here. Aaron Glenn's defense was put in multiple bad spots by the freaking offense, either because, 1, of the turnovers, 2, because they couldn't get anything going in the first half. And let's honestly think about it here. Aaron Glenn's defense only gave up, realistically, 23 points. And 10 of those points were off of turnovers from the offense, like I said, putting the defense in bad spots. It could have been a hell of a lot worse, but that defense freaking was like a damn stone wall. To only give up 23 points despite everything that defense was put in, that's absolutely amazing. Freaking Brian Branch played his ass off last night. Freaking Carlton Davis, like I said, played his ass off last night. Those guys were all over the damn field. They were making plays. They were doing everything they could to make sure that the defense stood tall, was resilient, so that the offense could go back out there and continue to try and make plays. Which then leads me to the offense. That game last night for the offense was, I'm going to talk about this in another episode today, but I'm just going to put it out there quite plainly. That was probably the worst offensive showing by the Detroit Lions that I have seen in a long time. That was just absolutely god-awful. It was embarrassing to watch, to be entirely honest. But like I said, I'll get to that later in another episode. But let's talk about the offense's performance second half. Again, you talk about the fact that Goff had 3 first-half interceptions. For most quarterbacks, that would absolutely just completely derail them. They would lose their confidence. They'd start second-guessing themselves. They'd get gun-shy. And they would just literally fall into a shell and just literally, be whatever. Goff didn't do that. In fact, Goff continued to play the game the way he normally does. Yes, it resulted in 2 more interceptions. But you know what? I want to remind y'all something. Goff was also the one that got a touchdown pass to frickin', Amon-Ra St. Brown, which allowed us to get a touchdown to bring us within, actually 20 to 23. And then Goff was also the one that helped lead the offense down the field, so that way Jake Bates could make that field goal to tie the game. And then Jared Goff in said offense was also the same offense that drove down the field that got us within range for Jake Bates to kick the game-winning field goal. That's what I'm trying to tell you all here. The grit, the resiliency, the never-say-die attitude. Even when everything was not going their way on offense, when it came time to actually make the damn plays, when it actually came time to get the job done, despite all the other crap that had happened prior to, which would have, for most teams, most players, just absolutely made them giving up, they made it happen. They found a way. That is the mark of true caliber championship teams. If you realistically want to think about it here, there are only 2 teams right now in the NFL that have proven that this year. One is the Chiefs. I said it yesterday when I found out the Chiefs won the freaking game against the Broncos. I mean, they were dead to rights against the Broncos, but somehow, some way, they found a way to win by blocking the game-winning field goal from the Broncos to remain perfect at 9-0. That's what championship teams do. They find a way, even in the most improbable situations. The other team that's done it? Us, the Detroit Lions. When you win a game like we won last night, when the offense is absolutely in a shambles for the first half, the quarterback's thrown 5 interceptions, most of which aren't his fault, but it doesn't matter. And then on top of that, your defense has been playing the best that it could, but it's constantly having to go back out there under absolutely horrible circumstances to give the offense more chances. And you still win on a walk-off field goal that quite literally, there is like that much space between the ball and the damn upright when it's going through. You can't tell me that that's not the mark of a championship team. When everything in the entire game plan is falling around you and you are looking for answers and you still find a way to win, that's what championship teams do. They don't make excuses. They don't get down on themselves. They don't quit. They find a way to get the damn job done. So yeah, was the game ugly last night? Oh, hell yes, it was ugly. Probably the ugliest game I have seen from the Dan Campbell era as far as a win was concerned. It was not pretty at all. But my God, it was gritty. It was beautiful. It was tough. That game was the pure validation that the rest of the NFL should look at and be like, hey, if this Lions team, despite everything that happened in that game, can still find a way to win against a division leader, AFC, South, Houston Texans, go into their house on Sunday night, they're down, they're absolutely getting their ass handed to them in the first half, and still come back and find a way to win, Lions are definitely going to the Super Bowl this year. I don't give a damn what anyone tells me. They are going to the Super Bowl. That game last night absolutely validated everything about the Lions going to the Super Bowl this year. When you can find a way to win a game like that, you're going to the Super Bowl. I don't give a damn what anyone says. You can mock me, you can get sneering about it, I don't give a damn. Lions are going to go to the Super Bowl. That game last night proved it for me. That was the literal stamp of approval. Yep, we're going. At this point, the only thing that's going to stop us is actually getting to a Super Bowl and not winning it. That's it. I don't care what other team you try to throw up against us in the NFC. I don't care if you try to throw up the 49ers. I don't care if you try to throw in the Vikings. I don't care if you try to throw in the freaking Packers. I don't care who you try to throw in. I don't even care if you throw in the Commanders. Commanders are absolutely doing great this year, but you know what? They're not us. Commanders are a great team, but they're not us. We are built differently. We are built ridiculously different than just about every other team in the NFL. And last night was the quintessential proof that showed it. It doesn't matter what we're going through. It doesn't matter if our quarterback's thrown 5 picks. It doesn't matter if our team is down at the second half. It doesn't matter if our offensive line is absolutely just getting manhandled. We will find a way to beat you. Again, I take you guys back to, and I'm going to end with this. I take you guys back to the freaking Hard Knocks episode in the speech where Dan Campbell is talking about, listen, we don't care how long we have to go. We don't care how, what we have to do. We will keep treading water and we will freaking drown you. We will tread water as long as we have to before we bury you. That's exactly what we saw last night. The Lions kept treading water. They kept biding their time. They kept doing what they had to do to stay in the game. And when they had the moment to strike, they did. That's what that was. That was the championship caliber team that the Lions needed to show last night, Sunday Night Football, when everything else was failing, everything else was falling around them. They did that. That's why I'm saying this validates the Lions' Super Bowl goals. You can talk about every other game they played up to this point, but last night's ugly, gritty win, that's what Super Bowl teams do. And you can't argue it. You can't dispute it. But anyway, folks, I'm going to end this episode. And like I said, I've got more content coming out today. But having said that, I'm going to end the episode and say thank you all for watching in another episode of MCM Motor City Mania. If you like what you saw, by all means, I highly encourage all to watch the next episode I got coming out. Also encourage all to do one of these three things: like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. If by chance you subscribed in the past and you forgot to do so at the time, I want to highly encourage all, please make sure you hit that bell notification so that way you guys never miss any more content that I push out. Also want to encourage all, please make sure you guys share the content with your Lions friends and family members. Make sure you guys share it here on YouTube, share it on Twitter, share it on Facebook, share it anywhere and everywhere you possibly can. The more we can do that, the greater the channel can grow. The more we're able to spread the channel to new viewership, which allows our new viewership to come in and grow the channel. And with that being said, whether you guys have been a long-time viewer or this is your first time viewing me, I hope you all enjoyed the content. I hope you all got something out of the content. And I also want to say I hope everybody's got something in their life today that makes them happy, makes them smile. God bless, my friends, and until the next time we meet, I'll see you all in the next episode.